Hello, everybody. Self-care challenge day 31. So 31 days of our 49 days of self-care. How are you doing? Let me know. What are you doing for self-care? Are you checking in with yourself each day? Are you increasing your self-awareness? Are you assessing where you're at and where you feel would be in your highest? And are you taking whatever steps would be necessary to get into alignment if you're not already? And if so, what works well for you? What are you doing for you? Trying to share this out here real quick. I did not actually have a whole lot to share today. Was coming on anyway. Wasn't gonna let it slide. So today in the acronym of self-care, the letter L, we talk about love, meaning having love starting for self, right? I think typically as empathic healers, we have love for others. I like to say that that's probably a given. Maybe not, but I would like to say that it probably is, right? But we also need to have that love for self as well. And again, I don't mean that icky, gross, egoic kind of way. I just mean that love for self that God, Source, Creator also has for us, right? That we allow ourselves to receive that, that we treat ourselves with love and compassion instead of the icky lack of boundaries and high criticism and it draining ourselves and expecting ourselves to give everything away, right? Instead of taking care of ourselves too. Hey, there she is. Iona says, hey, love. Hey, beautiful. Thanks for hopping on with me. I'm a little late. I might have taken a little nap. Self-care. Just saying. And there's some self-care too, right? Iona says, I was just blasting music. That sounds fun. So much to share with love and the vibration of it. Yes, self-love movement is huge. It really is, right? Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I am here. Fantastic. Thank you. I didn't always have that love for self, right? Can you guys resonate with that? And it's hard to admit sometimes, or it's like I thought I did, but if you go by the aspect of that saying that actions speak louder than words, you could definitely say not so much because my actions didn't say that I cared about myself. My actions didn't say that I had love for self. My actions said that I dismissed myself and I was critical of myself and I wore myself thin and I tried to put other people first and I stressed myself out and I burned myself out and blah, 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 right? Not self-care. Stuck in depression, anxiety, all those icky kinds of things because I wasn't taking care of myself, because I didn't meet myself with love and compassion, because I had high expectations of the what I should be doing, right? That self-image that we also covered today with the solar plexus chakra, that self-image. What roles do we try to step into? What hats do we wear? And what expectations come along with it? And then what happens when we're not realizing that we too are a human who requires energy to receive love and self-care also, as we keep trying to force it out and push it out and give and give and give, we burn out, right? We burn out. So the importance of that self-image, looking at both as a human and as a spiritual being. Have you guys done this as well? You have your spiritual awakening, you realize that you're more than just a human. In some ways you think, or at least I have, you think I could do without certain things, like I can live minimally and I can give more because that's even more, really feeling into that more of what I'm supposed to be here to do. And really drain yourself out again more and burn yourself out more, and then you criticize yourself because you're supposed to be more spiritual. There's air quotes again, more spiritual than that. You're supposed to know better and do better and be better and not have those issues anymore. Like you're no longer human. But we are. So there's that. And I'm chuckling at myself. Let me come back up here to Iona's comments. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Iona says, haha, I was watching out for you. Thank you, loves. Yep, resonate with that. Oh man, I know. I have been so hard on myself over the years. I feel you. Iona says, I was dancing and appreciating myself and my body and all the work I am doing, and yeah, my self-image is matching. Fantastic. Iona says, I'm moving into the self-image as in the reality had not caught up with my vision. I hear ya, right? Yeah. And I've been checking myself and actually I've had to check myself, like even with the tooth thing, right? I fell into a little bit of that. How could you let that go? How could you let it get to this space? How could, beat myself up for, better, and you should have taken better care of that. You shouldn't let it get that far. And excuse me. Yeah. Excuse me. And it says, I nearly choked on my water. We need to be more spiritual and then we are human. I know, right? I feel you, but we do. We do. And speaking of water, apparently I need a drink. So excuse me while I get that. Hmm. Yeah. That's been coming in more for me as well, though, is that connection. So in meditation this morning, I was still up early. I wanted to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. And I'm trying to back off the ibuprofen a bit because I just really don't like taking it. And my body doesn't really like my stomach doesn't like it. The pain enjoys it because it helps relieve it, but my stomach doesn't enjoy it, and then that causes more pain. But it's getting better, so I'm trying to back off of the ibuprofen, just tolerate a certain amount of the pain. If it's not tolerable, I'm not going to make myself suffer. But um, also, I took a nap because I was up early, and it was just nice to do. Um, brain freeze. Oh, the image. When I was meditating though this morning early, and I was thinking about, how we talk about the energy flowing, kind of that figure eight shape, and meeting in the heart space. Gracious. Excuse me. And sometimes when it comes up to the heart space and that space of transformation, when we need to repeat the cycle because we didn't quite clear it or get it yet, it dips back down. And then I was thinking of those cycles that from the heart chakra into the lower chakra and in that humanness and in those cycles and those patterns and habits, obviously, that we get into. But then I was also thinking what I wasn't really paying attention to before is in a sense we can do the opposite with the energy that's flowing upward. And oftentimes we want to because we like that higher vibrational energy from the heart space up. But we can get stuck in that cycle too. So it reminds me of that alignment for manifestation, right? This is how my visuals come to me, right? So it's like having that, like there's certain energy that's there, that's ready, that's kind of in a way. I don't know if this is exactly what you were saying, Iona, but when you said that, it triggered that reminder, that memory of this morning to me in that meditation. There's a part of you that's there, that's vibrating up in the highest. However, we haven't grounded into it, right? We haven't pulled it all the way in. We haven't fully received it all the way through our root chakra. And that's necessary to bring that manifestation in, right? So when we talk about, oh, we manifest all the time, we manifest things that we don't necessarily want to manifest, but unfortunately, because of our old patterns and things and our old cycles, we can bring it in quicker because our energy has aligned with it. It's habitual, it's been there, it's aligned, it's repetitive, it's doing the thing, right? So it draws in more of the same. Not that we necessarily want it and we try to break that type of a cycle, but it can come in because the energy is aligned with it. However, when we have that vision that's up higher in that higher vibrational energy from the heart space up, it's there, it's waiting, it's ready, but we have to draw it all the way in. So then when you think about what are the rest of the chakras that we have in our humanness that I touch on with, say, best you, right? Our beliefs, our emotions, our thought patterns. So creating the thought patterns, right? Repeating those affirmations on the daily, visualizing that, drawing the energy down in that self-image. Iona, like you talk about, you're standing in energetically. You're standing in that self-image as you wish to be in, right? You're feeling it down into the sacral chakra, feeling what it feels like to be that best-selling author, to be that podcaster, right? To be and then believing it into the root chakra. So it was just, it helped me because, I think of chakras and the energy of chakras and how they move. And that just really clicked for me this morning. So I just wanted to share that because self-image today and how I see myself. And I've really been seeing myself before as, the family member, which family still comes first to me, and they will. It's not saying that they're not going to. It's just allowing my self-image to expand. So I think that's another importance too for myself is although we do talk about releasing certain things so new can come in, there's certain energy that we release to allow new to come in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to release everything. Like I don't have to say, Mom, I'm no longer your daughter because right? I'm going to step into the self-image. No, it's me allowing that for myself. And then I set boundaries and make choices accordingly, right? So it's really cool how things are coming together. But thank you for listening. I wanted to share that. Let me find your comments. I don't know, where did I leave off, love? I was watching out for you. I think I went up too far. I'm sorry. Give me one moment to get back on track. But my choking on the water. I think that's where I left off. I don't I have to laugh. It hurts. Okay. Um. Oh my God, the mind takes us out. I know, right? It can. Awareness is huge. So there's that. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Glad it is getting better. Thank you. And that's so too. We need both. We do really need both. 1,000,000% for it to click in and really draw it in. Or yeah. Girl, that is huge. That manifesting and grounding. Yeah. It's so cool. Like you said, I wish I could. I probably could if I really wanted to be honest, but I don't really think I really want to that badly, to be honest. But I kind of wish I could create little visual things, right, to pop on here and share, and they would be like little probably cartoons that showed this image of how I see it. It's really neat. It's like a thing I really wish I could put on a display to share, so it could be as clear as it is when I can see it. Iona says, I am in F it mode and just going for it and bringing in the back. Right on. I feel that big time. So cool. Right on. Believing it into the chakra. That is so cool. Right? I thought so too. It's like, and I talk about the beliefs in the root chakra because they are the root of our life experience. So, how much sense does that make? To have that belief to create that experience we want to create. And if we want to manifest something new and something different, then we have to allow ourselves to receive, right? And I think that's exactly why we're saying allow ourselves to receive so that we can receive it all the way into the root chakra to bring it into this 3D physical experience that we are as humans on earth. Just saying. Oh man, Iona says family comes first for sure and balance because they don't always put us first. No, they don't. And it is that, that different like what are some of the sayings? I used to say, in my snarkier days, I used to say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Like I was really, and turnabout is fair play. That was two of my big phrases. And I see some things, on the spiritual aspect, some memes that people talk about, like, um, whatever energy you're sharing is what I'm given today, or is that like, I don't know. But then a whole different side of me is like, no, I don't want to keep giving what I receive in that aspect because I want something different. I want to bring something different. And I know this isn't what you're trying to say, but I'm just sharing because it triggered that thought. Um, like what I had shared before about mom and I having struggles in our relationship, right? Like there was just a lot of tension and frustration and stuff going on. So I had to be willing to bring in the shift to allow that space and clear out that icky stuff, to allow that stuff to go, right? To bring in something better. So I don't know that doing that will ever make that playing field even, so to speak, that everyone will finally step up and put us first. But at least I can say I tried to make those changes and not keep that cycle stuck in gunk. As we think that So the extreme of it, I am no longer your daughter. I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was just to be, I was being kind of silly too. I wasn't necessarily trying to let her off the hook that easy. Being funny. She'd miss me. I know she would. I know, right? Thanks for laughing with me. Uh, I you visualize, right? The image. I've been visualizing more. I say want to, which means then I also have been, but not as much as I want to. So it's that reminder, because creating new habits takes time too, right? It is that reminder and then the doing and then the reminder and the doing. And then until we do it enough and repeat it enough that we do create a new habit. Good. I'm glad that makes so much sense. Thanks for letting me know that, Iona. Birthing it for sure, right? Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Absolutely. My pleasure. Truth with the cycle of gunk. Yeah, right? It's nice when we can clear that out. And let me, she wouldn't miss you. I know, she would. She would, really. And it's nice that I know that now and I could feel that now when we were in that gunk and we had all that conflict and contrast. I probably wouldn't have believed that. I'd have been like, nah, I think she wants me gone. Right? It was like a total different energy, a total different mindset, a total different belief at the time. But being able to move through some of those things. And she about made me cry the one day. I might cry telling you. But it was the cutest thing. I think it was Monday when I was trying to get the appointment for my tooth, right? And maybe it was after I finally did get an appointment. Because like I said, I drove out and I went to one, couldn't have that one, had to call someone else, go out to another place to be seen. But she was walking to me really slow and I wasn't reading her face, right? But I was in pain myself, but I wasn't reading, like usually you can read people's, energy or body language or something. And I'm like, I'm not picking up what's going on here. Trying to like, do I move out of your way? You know what? She come to give me a big hug. She's like, I'm sorry your tooth hurts. I hope you feel better. And she just held me. It was the sweetest thing. Like I'm literally tearing up because it was the sweetest thing. Like, how nice was that? Anna says, "Defo, the habits takes time." They do, right? And we have to repeat it and create it and make it a habit. And I find in my own reflection that I'm not always good at that. Like, and no blame, I'm not blame shaming or guilting. It's that awareness, right? So that cycle I love that we created that Iona of. It's a quick way to say, wait, check yourself, right? This is just awareness. It's just an observation. So we know what to do, what we want to do next, what step we want to take, what action we want to take, because we're not going to change it if we're not aware of it, but also not allowing the brain to take ourselves down and start beating ourselves up because you know that what you have to do to create a habit and you know you need to stay up and right? Because the brain can do that. I know mine can. It's really good at beating the heck out of me if I let it. Anna says it was a total different mindset. Oh, I love this shift. It's amazing. It's really amazing. I love it too. No way. Oh man, I am a crier. I know, right? Girl, it was making me, I about cried right there on her shoulder. And not even because of like the pain, but just the overflow of love I felt, and the love and compassion. I'm not laughing at her, but it's just so cute that. So I help her put her compression socks on, right? I wish you guys could have this visual. It's really kind of a pain in the butt. So we have this little, they call it a sock helper or something. This is just a rambling video today. That's fine. But we put the sock on there and then mom and I tag team it. So I get it up on her foot. She grabs the ropes. She pulls up, on the ropes to get the sock on. And then I grab this thing and kind of push upwards to get it on her foot. Well, to try to help me from having to bend too far over, knowing that that could create more pain in my face, right? She's trying to lift her legs so far up in the air. It's like I had to laugh, but it was so thoughtful of her, and it couldn't have been very comfortable for her either, but just so thoughtful. Iona says, "Yeah, I have read the Automatic Habits book about 8 times. I've heard you talk about it. I haven't read that book specifically, but like I've learned about habits and whatnot in college and things." Anna says, "Yes, this cycle is awesome with our lives." Heck yeah. Oh no, the sock helper. Oh yeah, But how sweet of her to try to be so helpful and pick her leg up so high. So sweet of her. Exactly. So sweet and thoughtful. So that self-image, right? It got way off track, but thanks for letting me share. I still love that whole pulling in, and I'm really setting that visual and image of what I want to step into, that energy I want to feel. So, what energy do you guys want to feel? Are you aware of your self image? Are you aware of the roles that you play, the hats that you wear, and how you, and I'm not even talking about how other people portray you in those images. How do you portray you in those images? Because that makes such a huge difference. And we take on oftentimes, we pick up the judgments that others have had on us throughout our lifetimes, right? And sometimes we really internalize that. But I believe it's time for us to let that surface and release it and let us choose how to see ourselves, right? How do I want to see me in this role? I don't have to meet everybody's expectations because I'm not gonna. Like, we're just not gonna. And it's so weird to me because I've been through the cycle before. I used to say it about my dad, right? And I finally had to get to this realization that I am not going to make this man happy because if he says do it A and I go A and then that's wrong, go B. And I'm like, but you said A. So I went A and now it's B. So okay, I'm following. We're doing B. Nope, that's not right either. It was so confusing. But seriously. But unfortunately, my brain was programmed to do the same stinking thing. So it didn't matter how I would do something. I learned how to then criticize myself in every way I did it. So every way I did it, from what I told myself, was wrong, right? So really being open to that energetic part of me, my soul, God, source, spirit, unconditional love, to have a different perspective. I don't even want to say judgment because it's not even a judgment. It's just a perspective. And it's not having the blame, shame, or guilt. It's just the awareness and observation of it so I can see if I need to change it, if I want to change it, if I'm in alignment with it or not, and then choose differently, right? Give myself credit once in a while. It's not a terrible thing. I think sometimes too we are guilted and then guilt ourselves for giving ourselves credit for our successes or for having a want or for having a need. I was thinking of the money aspect too, Iona. I just saw 2222 on my counter, by the way. But I was thinking about the money aspect, and someone had posted in one of the groups on Facebook. I don't remember which group, excuse me, but she was talking about that balance between being spiritual and wanting to drive a Mercedes, right? Like, and then, some of the feedback, it's your ego that wants to drive the Mercedes, and like being spiritual, you have to not want for anything. And there is a balance in there, and it's not terrible to want something. It's not terrible to enjoy this life experience. It becomes quote unquote terrible when we get so greedy we could care less who we hurt to get it, right? That's what we're not supposed to do. We're not supposed to walk around just like it's all about me and screw you. That's when it's not. That's when it's all ego-y stuff. It's okay to receive, to share, and to give and to be happy. We're part of a collective, but then we deny that we're part of the collective in that way. We're part of the collective. It means that we love ourselves too. We're part of the collective means we be happy too. It's part of the collective that we're a part of this life experience too. We say because we're spiritual, we're not supposed to have that anymore. Let's not do that. I'm catching myself. So, I mean, that's my own confession, and I wanted to hear myself say it's not right because it's not. It's okay to be both spiritual and have a want and to be happy and own something material. It's not all of our life, right? Because once we leave this earthly plane, we don't take it with us. However, if you're able to enjoy it, enjoy it. Shoot. No blame, shame, and guilt. Trying to see where I left off again, Iona. Thanks for your comments, love. Atomic Habits, Cycle, Sock Helper, The Sweetness of Her. Oh, Iona says, yep, every Thursday, environmental freedom. Is that what we were talking about? I forgot now because I went on my rant. Iona says, it's so on track for me. It makes sense. Fantastic. We do pick up the judgments, right? We do. And I like learning and practicing more and being observant more of the awareness of it, kind of like that observe, don't absorb. Same thing with other types of energy, same with judgments. Observe that they exist or observe that they're in our energy and come up for to be released, but not to internalize it and absorb it. But all those years of internalizing and absorbing, I'm now giving myself that time for it to surface so I can, give it the attention it needs to release it because they're not accurate. They're not even accurate. And it says, oh, wow. So that is where that comes from. I have no idea. I waited too long to come back, so I don't know where that came, what you're speaking to. I'm sorry. Boom, 2222. I know, right? It's like, yay. And this morning I saw, like, I was just waking up and I was trying to go back to sleep, but I couldn't fall back to sleep. And I was like, well, I'll check the clock, see what time it is. Maybe I'll go ahead and get up. It was 4:44. I got up. Actually, I drink water and then coffee, and then I've been drinking a Boost with my medicine, right? So I did another check on the clock because I was journaling, and it was 5:55. So I was noting that in my journal, these numbers that I saw. So then the 2222 as well. The car. I'm gonna have to come back and watch the replay. I'm sorry. And it says, "Oh heck no, both is okay." Oh, right, right, right. Yes, the Mercedes, wanting the Mercedes and thinking it's not spiritual to want to drive a Mercedes. Yeah, right? And it's so interesting too, because even taking my mom to her appointment today, I'm looking around, I'm like, some of these houses are beautiful, right? Where did I know I've done it, and I'm not literally, it was a rhetorical question in my own head of like, why have I talked myself out of allowing myself to receive or thinking that I didn't deserve to have a similar experience, right? Why do I think that I have to be in places that cost less, are valued at less, or falling apart, or don't deserve, can't afford the maintenance, or, right? It's like really just being mindful of where these patterns and these programs have come from so I can squash that quickly. That says, oh, yeah, both is okay, absolutely. That says, money monk is not helpful, it's stressful, struggling. It sounds like it. Now, I'm not familiar with completely the money monk other than a couple things that you shared about it because I've not taken that. Remind me, is it? Totally forgot the name of it. Um, Millionaire. Trying to remember the name of the intensive you took. Millionaire Mindset Intensive? Is that it? The T. Harv Eker? I don't know, it says it's garbage. It is, right? It's okay. I'm loving your rambling rants. I'm glad you do. Thank you. The book on habits on EFT as my reading. Yeah. It's neat too because was it the Shift Network? Maybe? Or one of those. What was the other one? Memory is not working for me right now. But C.A.R.E. medicine, I've spoken on her before. There was like a webinar this week, and the very first one was EFT. So I thought that was really cool. I know it says your dad stuff and not getting things right. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Dad was tough. I always say he was confused. Like I laugh about a lot of things now, which I did not laugh about when I was younger because I had no understanding, right? It was just confusion of trying to understand and trying to understand on my own. So then you're just creating things in your own mind anyways to try to understand. So who knows? Who knows where I got my ideas from? But then I accepted those as being the answer and then held on to it and whatever. But yeah, I always say dad was confused when he raised a daughter. He didn't. And plus, I'm sure I challenged every one of his his beliefs too. Which again, I laugh about it now, but there's still some things of those programs that I have to work through and try to figure out. Yeah, the Mercedes, I wasn't like, yeah, it was very interesting. Someone else had asked about that line between self-love and like being egotistical too. I'm like, and it's hard to explain. I wanted to comment, but a quick comment probably wouldn't have done it justice, so I left it alone. But it is difficult to explain. And it takes practice. And I think we really have to check in with ourselves when we do it, right? And I'm sure also because have you ever noticed that in observing when you read something on Facebook, like a question like that, and if you read a few of the comments, there are very different beliefs and perspectives to answer and respond. And I'm not saying that anyone is right or wrong. It's right for them, right? That's where we are in that moment, and that's how we would respond in that moment. And how I respond today is going to be different than how I would have responded 10 years ago, and possibly different than how I respond in the next 10, right? So it's not that we're right or wrong, it's just where we're at in these moments. So trusting ourselves is another big one that came up in my journaling today. Big one. Forgiveness and trust. Um, so thank you for that. Just to peek at my journal before I hit our homework for today. Oh, I was looking up the whole thing on the tooth, right? Spiritual meanings of. I get it. Things happen to the physical body. However, understanding energy and how it can flow in and build up and so forth. And then it was really cool. I ran into, which I didn't really pay that, obviously, in a spiritual aspect, pay that much attention to the connection with teeth. Like I do other parts of the body, right? And I talk about chakras and stuff, but not the teeth. And there's these few different websites that really broke down, like made a connection because there are meridians in the body. And again, I'm not familiar with all the meridians. I work more with the chakras and then just the layers through the chakras, right? But for each one of the teeth, there's an association with different parts of the body and different types of energy. So that was really interesting. I don't think I wrote that one down. Darn, I wish I did. I think I screenshot. Oh, I did. So the tooth that I have the issue with right now is they number them, right? So it's number 19, chronic grief, feeling caged, and depression. I was like, whoa, that was massive because I know I have shared with you, especially in the past, like recent past, obviously, of having those trapped feelings, meaning like feeling caged. Even my book I'm writing, The Worthiness Trap, and how that reflects on different ways that we feel trapped in certain roles and images and situations and life experiences and right. So that trap is similar to the idea of the cage. And I've related myself before to the old Metallica song called My Own Prison, like really creating that cage for yourself. Yeah, it just kind of blew my mind. I was like, whoa. I know there's always meanings and links and connections and things, but again, it just kind of blew my mind. And it's that reminder that even though we do the work, we have so many layers, right? It's not just a do one thing and it's gone, or I've been giving myself Reiki again every night. Doesn't mean it takes it all away in a day, right? Layers and layers. Anna says, millionaire mind intensive. Great, thank you. You knew I was getting close, but I wasn't sure if I had the name of it right. True, that's massive. Oh, the meaning of teeth. Yeah, it was very, very interesting. I am still tapping. I did not do it Monday. I did not want to be touching my face like that. Actually, Monday, Tuesday, I take that back. I did not do those 2 days. Because you tap right around your mouth. Wasn't doing that. But before, now again after, yes. Still tapping. Woohoo, that is massive. I know. Thank you, love. Thank you for I always take the love now. Thank you. It's good. It'll be what it'll be, right? And there's reasons for everything. And I'm grateful it's in my awareness. I laugh at myself in some ways because, I like to use laughter as a way of breaking up that energy, as we shared yesterday. So, yeah, I was not offended on your live when you were laughing because I was laughing too. I'm like holding my face laughing, but still laughing. But kind of kicking not literally. I don't want to say it that way. Having the awareness of how there are still moments and things of when I um, hold back, I guess, or what's the word I'm looking for? Just old habits still that need to be released. Holding on to things, right? There are still things to be released. So just that reminder, the energy healing lifestyle, it's a continuation. It's not something we stop, right? As we said, we create new habits. So I have new habits to create. Still, my job is not done. As I say, our job is not done. Let's see. Iona says the connections are so helpful. They are, because whether we like it or not, our spirit may not need to know because our spirit already knows, but our human mind wants to know. Our ego wants to know. And instead of fighting it or denying it to a degree, I will look into things and I will still use my head, that left part of the brain, logical thinking, to have a level of understanding, to try to move with it instead of fighting against it. Maybe someday I won't feel the need to do that anymore, but for right now, I'm not going to beat myself up for doing it. Anna says that is meridians. What is meridians? Or that is? Are you familiar with meridians? I think when they do tapping, that's what they're kind of doing too. It's the neural pathways, but then there's also meridians. I don't know. It's laughing. Holding on and holding back, or the weekend they said about letting go. Did they? It's big, isn't it, to be able to let go? There's different things I've been reading and different YouTube, videos that pop up into my awareness that I watch, whether it's the whole thing or tidbits having to do with letting go. It's big. I do the same, look things up. Yeah, absolutely. Even ones that I think I already know, but sometimes we see things or hear things differently when we do it again, right? So, yeah, the tapping in the tooth. Yeah, but no, not doing that. Dude, it looked like I had a golf ball right here in my jaw, and I jumped and winced, just so you know, when my teeth would touch. Today they can touch without me wincing. It's beautiful. I actually ate a scrambled egg today. I feel like I made big progress. Tapping meridians and tooth. I got you. Yeah. There's a big connection in all of that. All of it. Yeah. I won't get into all that because I want to study that more, but there's more things I'm going to do first before I learn more about meridians. Meridians and no, I don't think I share it in the Chakra Healing Challenge. I think it was the first challenge, wasn't it? The 7 assessments, when I really went through the different layers of the energy body. I do want to bring that more in. I'm trying to, yeah, webinars coming in so we can create a master class, right? I say you have one. I need to create my master class. Excuse me. Woohoo eggs. I know. I was excited. I'm like, I think I might be able to do a scrambled egg today. It's funny. You had asked me on your live why I don't do sweet potatoes, and in all honesty, it was just complete, I don't want to say laziness, because when you don't feel good, I mean, it's just part of the thing. So just something quick and easy and creamy, like automatically creamy. The sweet, because I didn't mash the potatoes the first time I did, but then there were chunks, and I had to like scoot the little chunks of potato out, and that wasn't working for me very well. So then I went and bought bags of like powder potatoes, so I could just add water, and those are nice and creamy, quick to fix and easy to eat. So that's why it was mashed potatoes for me. Yesterday though, I expanded to cottage cheese, but I still had to mush it down because I couldn't bite it yet. But I mushed it down really thin and had applesauce, so I was like excited because I had something more than powdered mashed potatoes. And like you say, this morning I had scrambled eggs, so that was cool. Yep, we masterclass. Yeah, I know you'll help me with that. Um, yeah, makes sense. The mash. Yeah, that was all. That was all. I'm sure I could do. I was actually thinking too, like turnips, because I love turnips and they get really soft when you boil them, so I can mash those up real easy too. So actually, I don't know if they're in season yet. I'll run to the store because I know Mom wants more eggs too. So if I go to the store and get eggs, I can see if they have turnips. So I can make my son feeling better. Not all the way, but better. I can mash myself some turnips. That would be delicious. Oh, I love turnips. So, anyways, went way off there talking about food, self-image. So, how we see ourselves, the energy of it, right? Allowing ourselves to really receive it. So, if you missed the conversation a little bit earlier, just a really fast recap, and we're talking about the separation of the energy from the heart space down as a lot of the humanness, human cycles, human habits, and the energy up is the higher vibrational, like God, source, creator, soul, spirit self. When we can visualize in that image for ourselves as we're seeing, like, this is what I want to do, right? You have that vision of, as an empathic healer, I want to write a book. I want to be an author. I want to host a podcast. I want to Like maybe if you're not doing it yet, or you haven't fully stepped into it, or you do it and you don't feel it. Because let me tell you, I was a mental health therapist for a couple of years and didn't really feel like I was a real mental health therapist. I didn't receive the energy of it. I didn't fully step into it, right? So we can actually be a thing, like wear a title or do a thing, and not energetically feel it or receive it or step into it. So in that, when we have that vision and we see that and we're creating that for ourselves and we have that feeling, we can start to feel a little bit, and in that vibration in the upper, we need to receive it all the way through. So it's in alignment. So we can really bring it into part of the physical life experience in the root chakra. Believe in it. Believe in you, right? Trust you. It was my big thing today. Like I felt like my highest self was just kind of like, hello, hello, anybody in there? Yeah, it says yummy. They are really delicious. Nona says, it's all linked. Good food choices and not emotional eating, love and self-image. It really is, but it's interesting too because even though like the junkier food, I don't even want to say it's junkier because it's processed. Like the mashed potatoes are processed because they're powder and in a bag. Um, so in that aspect, it was junky, but at least it wasn't. I wasn't emotionally eating in the same way. It wasn't like, oh, I'm depressed, so I need to feed this emotion. It was more like, I'm in pain, I'm starving, I want something quick and easy so I can go lay down. Right? I guess it's still an emotion. I'm hungry. I'm in physical pain. I want something easy. Not that it matters, or not that it made it healthy, but I would add, I think my mom thought I was crazy, but I was adding garlic powder onto the mashed potatoes. So even the bag that I bought was flavored garlic mashed potatoes. I still added more garlic to it. And then my eggs this morning, I added turmeric and ginger and black pepper. In my applesauce, I put cinnamon. So I'm trying to even just add these extra herbs onto my food as well to make it a little healthier. Anna says, "Oh wow, you didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like a gym goer. I clearly am now, right? No, I didn't. Like, yeah, I was in those positions for a couple of years. I can remember when my mentor and friend, when I worked at a community-based correctional facility as a case manager, and like before I got the job, it was almost intimidating, right? Like, ooh, I'm going to work in this kind of jail type setting and I'm going to provide case management and it's like it seemed so much bigger than me, right? It seems so much bigger than me. So you go for the interview and you're nervous, and who you're talking to, and then you work with probation officers and you work with judges and have to write letters to judges, and I might have to go to court and testify, and like I say, everything just the image, right? I didn't see myself in that image, but to see the image of the role I was stepping into just seemed so much bigger than me. So even after working there, my mentor's like, how cool is that you work in a place, where A, B, C, D? And I'm like, yeah. I don't. And then I minimized it. Once I was in the role, I still didn't see myself in that role, even though I was showing up every day doing it. Like I those habits and programs, dismissing myself, that self-image of how we internalize it and create that insignificance, unworthiness, yeah, all that stuff. It messes with you. It's weird. Hello, right? And this is yeah, double yak. What? What are you yakking at there? Oh, the garlic, ginger, turmeric. My little. Are you yakking at my herbs? And it says it's big, isn't it? The professionals working with them. It is, but it's funny how how the perspective changes as the outsider before you before you start doing that role. It seems like such a big deal and it's so intimidating. But then when you get in that role and you're doing it, it's your job, you're doing it, then it's like, oh, sometimes it's still nerve-wracking. Like, because you have a certain level of respect, like for a judge and whatnot. But then you start to see judges and probation officers and other people in those roles as people too. So then your perspective starts to change, or I don't know, or your mind just beats you up because that's what it's used to doing. Iona says it does mess with us. It really does. The food. Oh, yeah. I thought it was delicious. And it's super healthy for, I mean, the herbs are super healthy for you, you know, turmeric and ginger with the black pepper. Yum. And cinnamon and the applesauce was delicious. And definitely the garlic and potatoes. That I love that, not gonna lie. And I saw for sweet potatoes, and my mom still likes to use brown sugar, which is not the greatest, but she uses brown sugar on them. And I like cinnamon and honey. I use raw honey. It's divine. I'll be able to eat that soon because it's soft, but I couldn't eat it before. And this is exactly, they are just people. And then, really, they are, right? And having that reminder, but allowing ourselves too some credit where it's due. Because, you know, certain things we've had to learn it. We did work, right? I don't know, you had to do work and learn the things that you teach. And I had to work and learn the things that I teach, and giving ourselves credit, not boasting. I don't mean getting all icky and egoic about it. Excuse me, but instead of dismissing ourselves or doubting ourselves or not trusting ourselves, giving ourselves that credit and lowering the expectations in the aspect of having the expectation and just not trusting and allowing that if something doesn't pan out exactly how we wanted it, it's because God source creator had something better in mind. So what's terrible about that, right? Like shifting those ideas of the process and the journey. Oh no, Yak, stop saying it. It sounds awful. Does it really? I thought you liked those things. No? Which I know. I thought you liked like ginger and turmeric. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why, but I thought you said you did. Okay, I'll stop. Oh man, so much work, dude. I'm owning it. Fantastic. I'm glad. And I am too. Dang nabbit. It's about time, right? Receive that. I know it's not Sunday to be talking about receiving, but receive that. And how funny that on Sunday, when we talk about receiving, I have to really think about what we're talking about that day because I have blocked receiving so well, releasing that block. Thank you for laughing with me. Anna says, I like them not on eggs and mashed. Oh, I see. I got you. But okay, I got you. It's time. It is. And I know we've said that before, but really, it is time. So I won't deny I don't love getting up super early, but I really don't mind getting up early and having that quiet journal time and meditation time. And I've needed it, and it's been very beneficial, very healing. Receiving over here, right on, right? Same, girl, same. Okay, it is 48 minutes. I did not mean to ramble that long, but thank you, Iona, for being on here with me. Thank you for whoever's popped in and had to pop out and comes back for replay. Thank you for being here. Homework, not going to skip that. Let me jump to the homework. If you have the chakra healing cheat sheet, again, we're working with the solar plexus, keeping in mind what is your self image. So be aware, assess, and align. Be aware of how you see yourself. Assess if it's how you want to see yourself, or is there something you want to change differently. And I don't mean beat yourself up because you're not fitting some idealistic image. I just mean, do you feel good about where you're at? Like, can you look at yourself in the mirror and feel good about it? Right? No blame, shame, and guilt. But is there something different that you really want to do? Like, not that you have to be somebody other than yourself, obviously, or pretend to be something else, but is there another duty or role that you would like to feel more into? So, one example was that I was sharing about being a Reiki teacher and an author and being in the energy and feeling and receiving the energy of that. I am that. I am literally that. Like, I am literally, right? A certified Reiki master teacher. I am literally teaching people how to do Reiki, but feeling, instead of pushing back on the energy of it, because of old patterns of blame, shame, and guilt, or unworthiness, or whatever that may be that's blocking me from it, clearing that, allowing myself to receive and be in the energy of that. That's what I mean by assessing where you are. And if not, if you're not able to be fully into that image that you are, what is an action step you can take to get there? So again, this is really dealing with the energy in your solar plexus chakra, and this is showing up with that love and compassion, not blame, shame, and guilt, right? So healing hands, if you're just resting your hands on your stomach, so between your belly button and like the lower part of your rib cage, just letting the energy align as it does. The color that resonates with the solar plexus chakra is yellow. Again, I'm wearing black again today, kind of absorbing some negativity. Solfeggio frequency that resonates with the solar plexus chakra is 528 hertz. And affirmations or reflections is I do. Again, you don't have to necessarily say I do, but think of the actions that you take. Think of the habits that you have already. And are there different habits you're trying to create? And I say it that way because if you heard me talking a little bit earlier, I was speaking on how, it takes time and practice and repetition to create a new habit. So even though I've been able to release and break some old habits, there are still some new healthier habits that I'm wanting to recreate. And it's not yet a habit. It's not yet become habitual, automatic for me yet. So that reminder to continue to do that. So reflect inward. What habits do you have now? What actions do you take now? And what are some habits that you would like to create? Or what are some things that you would like to do? Making your own kind of to-do list and give yourself credit for the actions that you do take. Don't dismiss them. The element for the solar plexus chakra is fire. Get out in the sun if you haven't. It was raining here earlier, but it is sunny right now. So get out in some sunshine. You can burn a candle to enjoy the energy of fire. Let me come back up here. Iona says, that's nice. It's healing. It's very. I love it. It's cool. Love you billions. Love you billions too. Thank you. You are that. I know, right? Isn't it interesting? Like we do these things, but we're not feeling into it. So then we don't really say that we are, and we are. And this is, I'm wearing black today. Are you? It's so funny to me sometimes how we match and we don't even. Like if it's our color day, I get it if we're both wearing red on Mondays, but those days that we just randomly throw in a black t-shirt day. Intentional living, baby. Thank you. And I'm so sorry. I didn't even bring that up, did I? So today in the intentional living codes, cheers to financial freedom. It is Emotional Freedom Wednesday. Our habits, our self-image directly affect our emotions, right? How I think and feel about me is going to trigger certain emotions in me and vice versa. Some of the emotions that I have in the sacral chakra, that energy comes into the solar plexus, right? And one feeds the other, basically. So when I'm blaming and shaming and guilting myself, right, what are some more emotions that come along with that? Unworthiness, insignificance, sadness, frustration, anger. I'm sure we could think of all kinds of them, right? So it's really important to be mindful that sometimes what we're thinking is directly affecting and creating the emotions we're feeling. So there are times that we can interrupt the way that we think and change the thought patterns. So some of those habits we were talking about, thought patterns, creating new thought patterns so that we can feel a different emotion. It's massive. So emotional freedom, at some point you get to where you can just be calm and centered and you're in those, you're using those different habits. You have that self-image, you're creating more of what you want to feel. And then you have that freedom with your emotions. You just can just observe whatever you're feeling and you don't have that push and pull or entrapment or caged and depression. What I was sharing earlier about the connection with teeth, right? Iona says, I am on fire, baby. Right on. I feel into things way before I am a wife. I remember you were sharing that before, right? It's okay. Love you are talking about intentional living. True that. It is, right? Just didn't say the words, but I wanted to make sure I brought that in. Boom. I hear ya. So please check the description and get on our calls. I can't wait to see you and talk some more face to face on the Zoom. It is free. Just cost your energy, right? A little bit of time and energy. My call and Iona's call is on in the description. So please join us and look out on our pages for more information on an upcoming summit. Exciting. Iona says, oh, she says, bye everyone. See you all tomorrow. Love you so much. Take care. Bye bye.